Hurricane Michael came ashore not far from where we're sitting right now, west of Mexico Beach here in Florida. It was unlike any storm most of us have seen. When we got to the county EOC at dawn on Thursday, they had no communications, right? So the telephone lines were out, radios were out, cable TV's out, the satellite systems is in the swamp behind the EOC, so they're completely cut off. And what happened is that the whole world had kind of seen what had happened on Mexico Beach, because the media flew helicopters in and took a bunch of imagery, and that got out, and that was broadcast on CNN and Fox and ABC, NBC, all that. The people in this county EOC who are ultimately making the decisions about what resources go where and what do we need and how bad is it, had no information. So ultimately, we drove to Mexico Beach. We used UAS, we used fixed wing and multi-rotor to gather rapid reconnaissance information. On Thursday afternoon was the first imagery they'd seen of how bad things were. We just passed the 3-year anniversary of Michael, right? So we mapped Mexico Beach after that first day I talked about, and then we took students out and did that again in March of 2019. It's been a while since we've been out. The initial discussion was we need to come out and remap Mexico Beach, ideally to show all the progress that's been made in rebuilding in the past 3 years. We did a lot of mapping yesterday. The team's out right now flying, so we're testing aircraft. We are testing new communications technology, new coordination systems, all these things that we're going to want to use the next time a major hurricane occurs. So I've seen the Dragonfish operationally twice. It does a lot of things that I've not been able to see any other platform do. The 2-hour endurance of the Dragonfish certainly does away with the limitations of any of the multi-rotors. So you get the duration of flight without having to have a soccer field to launch and land in, right? The vertical takeoff and landing aspect is fantastic. It has a lot of the geospatial features that we really want, right? The ability to mark what's the coordinates of this thing in my field of view right now. We then move from a collect and then build a product and then do analysis. We're moving toward being able to do analysis and making decisions while the ship is still in the air. This is kind of known as the forgotten coast. This isn't condos and high rises, and resources aren't necessarily put here. And so that made the coming back from it more difficult in a lot of ways. Disasters are run by money, and money typically comes in the form of reimbursement from the federal government. So you have to be able to document what your damage is effectively, and you want to be able to capture all of the damage because you're going to make cost estimates based on that. And if you miss large swaths because you didn't know there was damage and you submit that report, you may not get all the money that you would be entitled to if you knew everything. It's hundreds, if not thousands of dollars per hour to fly a helicopter. So when we start to be able to offload some of these manned aircraft missions to the unmanned side, they're a fraction of the cost. My hope is to start to get better estimates for how much material is there, how much is that going to cost. And again, all of those things will help us make better decisions and speed that recovery up. Dragonfish could change that for us.